Hello, you're welcome to Ipman Today. Like you know, Ipman Today is an advocacy program of Ipman, and Ipman is an acronym for the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. Now, every week on Ipman Today, we'll bring you the dynamic thoughts, minds, and opinion of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria concerning issues within the oil and gas sector. On Ipman Today, we come with the verdict. On Ipman Today, we also come with oil and gas news and then Marketer's Diary. Now, today's edition of Ipman Today, we'll be talking about green energy revolution and how prepared is Ipman to drive this agenda for the president of Nigeria, that is the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, you're wondering who the guest is. You're also wondering what we have for you on oil and gas news, and I'm sure you're thinking about Marketer's Diary. This is Ipman Today. My name is Alpha Mokone. Don't touch the dial. We'll be back with the verdict. Hello, you're welcome to the verdict, and as you know, every week on the verdict, we usually have the president of Ipman, Alhaji Abubakar Migandi Gerima Shetima, on the seat. But on today's episode, we'll be having Mr. Norbert Shiasuk. Now, it might interest you to know that Mr. Norbert Shiasuk is an energy consultant to the president of Ipman, and he plays an advisory capacity and an advisory role on issues relating to energy as far as it relates to the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. Mr. Norbert Shiasuk, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Afan, for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're discussing energy today, green energy.
Yes.
Yeah, so like I said, our topic today is basically green energy. What does green energy entail for Nigeria, for the federal government, for our future economic development? Mr. Norbert, sir, let me begin with this. How relevant is green energy to Nigeria's economic drive today? How relevant is it to our economic development?
Okay, so first of all, I must say Nigeria is an oil and gas country. Why that is relevant to our economy is the fact that the economy is depending on the consumption, right, of individuals and
Institutions.
and commercial and industrial institutions and so on. And so that consumption is impacted by the incomes of people.
Yes,
right?
Certainly.
And so where the incomes of people have been narrowed because of expensive diesel power generation, every Nigerian has a generator in their home.
Almost every
right?
Nigerian.
Exactly. And
93%.
so Nigerians have been generating their own electricity with either diesel or PMS, and that has become quite expensive, right?
Yes.
With dollar devaluation and also impact of removal of subsidy and all of that, the price of energy has gone up. That way, the incomes, the disposable income of Nigerians have narrowed,
Sure.
right? And so to be able to begin to improve that disposable income, you now need to start introducing Nigerians to cleaner energy, cleaner, more affordable energy. And so I see green energy playing a role in helping to reduce the cost of energy for a lot of Nigerians and improving their disposable income, which ultimately improves consumption and economic growth.
Okay, now in the drive to achieve total green energy revolution in Nigeria, what do you think will be the major challenges?
Okay, so for energy transition in Africa, there are 4 major challenges, right?
Okay.
And one of the biggest is, they call them 4 A's.
Okay,
right?
4 A's.
Yeah, exactly. So it's availability of that.
Okay, availability.
Availability, of course,
First A.
right? Availability of the resource itself, right? Electricity, right?
Yes.
Because if I have an electric vehicle, where would I charge my, where can I have access to the electricity? Because Nigeria has a big issue with electricity in the first place.
Yeah, far.
So availability of the resource is a major issue. Number 2, accessibility.
Accessibility.
Right? Exactly.
Okay.
So that's the second A. How do I access it? So even if there's electricity all over the place, how do I access renewable energy if I don't have the means? Number 3 is affordability. Can I afford them? So launching 100 buses is a step in the right direction, but it needs to be available everywhere.
Everywhere across
Right?
Nigeria.
Across, right? And I need to be able to access them. And this is one of the reasons why Ipman will play a very, very big role.
But I was going to ask you, where
Exactly.
does Ipman come within all these, within the green energy drive in Nigeria? What role does Ipman have to play under the leadership of Alhaji Abubakar Migandi Gerima? What is the role?
Well, let me finish the 4 A's, but in talking about them, I should be able to include, the answer to your question, right? In terms of making resources, the green energy available everywhere, 2, making sure people can access it, right? Those two lie in the availability of a network that's everywhere. If you're going to make sure that people, for instance, like keke, people that ride keke,
Yes.
the easiest to transition would be to say, okay, let me electrify that last mile, the transportation last mile, right?
Yes.
By providing electric keke for people on the streets to be able to reduce the impact of subsidy removal. Because if you remove subsidy on petrol, the first people to feel it will be the poor on the street,
the poor.
right? The poor are the ones that will use keke from point A to point B
yes.
at the transportation last mile, right? And so if you want to reduce the impact of subsidy removal on the very poor, you need to think about initiatives to bring about electrification of that last mile. If you do that, it means these people need to have access to where they will charge their keke.
Yes.
Right now, they go to filling stations
To
buy fuel, right? These filling stations, more than 90% are controlled by Ipman.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah, more than 90%.
Exactly, because you have maybe 30 to 35,000, outlets
across Nigeria.
currently retailing diesel and PMS, right? Ipman has close to 30,000.
Yes, in fact,
right?
Ipman actually controls the major bulk
Exactly,
of these outlets.
exactly. So which means if you need to electrify the last mile, right, and give everybody electric keke or encourage people to go and buy electric keke or electric buses or electric vehicles, you need to ensure that people have access to where they can charge it. So this is where accessibility comes in, right?
Yes.
So in terms of accessing the fuel and so on, I think Ipman is an availability of the fuel everywhere, which is electricity everywhere. Government will need to look at collaborating with Ipman,
yes.
right, to be able to ensure that there are charge stations in every Ipman, outlet. There has to be the infrastructure for charging, and where you need to have infrastructure for charging, you have to start talking about the retail outlets and partnership with people like Ipman.
That's where Ipman comes in. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's where they come in. And so, having looked at all of that, then so with working with initiatives in collaboration with people like Ipman helps you to meet that critical mass requirement for effectiveness of energy policy. All across the world, whether it's France or every other nation that's implemented energy policies, critical mass has been a major enabler that they had to meet. And so for Nigeria to be able to be effective in its energy policy, they need to meet critical mass by implementing policies that enables them partner with people like Ipman to reach that mass. Number 4, and most critical, is awareness.
Awareness.
Exactly.
That's
so you have
the first
availability, accessibility, affordability, and awareness. How many people understand what green energy is all about?
Like what we're doing on this program.
Exactly. But also recently, I was talking with the president of Ipman, and he has expressed a need to provide training for all Ipman members, right?
Yes.
In terms of training their staff to be able to know how to convert electric vehicles. So most of these stations have mechanic sheds.
Yes, mechanic
In these mechanic sheds, I need to be able to train 1 or 2 mechanics to be able to
conversion centers.
Convert a gas vehicle, right? Apart from converting a gas vehicle, if I convert a gas vehicle and it has a fault, I need to find a mechanic that can fix it. So the conversion is just one aspect.
Just one end of it.
Maintenance is the second thing. And so you need to have, in terms of critical mass of a number of technicians out there that can convert vehicles, right? So training, the president has expressed interest in training his personnel to be able to support government's presidential CNG initiative. They have more than 30,000 outlets. If they train all their mechanics in those sheds to be able to convert vehicles or maintain them, it will help the government in meeting its need and meeting critical mass of technical capacity out there. Number 2, in terms of filling gas vehicles, in terms of safety and all of that. So he wants to also train all Ipman members, right, and their personnel to understand how to dispense gas, how to maintain a gas tank, how to implement safety procedures, because safety procedures and standard operating procedures for gas facility is totally different. And so we discussed about it, and he, at some point, I've been trying to engage the PTDF, which is a Petroleum Technology Development Fund, a fund that's set up to help build capacity in the oil and gas industry.
Sector, yes.
And so the discussion is now ongoing to see how PTDF can help to train Ipman staff members, right?
Yes,
to be able to, get the country prepared to support the energy transition of government.
So you think Ipman is fully ready, fully prepared
Ipman is fully prepared. Well, preparedness is a function of a lot of things. They need help, right? They need help from the government in terms of like PTDF to support them with training. They need help in terms of, accessing financing solutions that at single digits rate to be able to acquire, whether it's recharge stations, whether it's, equipping their stations to dispense CNG, right? To dispense electricity for electric vehicles or to help convert vehicles. They need funding for that. And so the government can work with them, because I know that the government is trying to set up some intervention funds, right? These intervention funds can be made available to members of Ipman who are capable and able to access this fund, right, and develop their business.
Yeah,
right?
but okay, now in rounding up, lastly, what is Ipman's stand in all of this, in the green energy revolution, the green energy drive? What is Ipman's stand? Where does Ipman stand in all of this? I mean, this is Ipman today, so
Yes.
let's round it up on that note.
Okay, so I've been chatting with the president a lot, right? The biggest issue for him is adaptation, right?
Okay.
If you do not adapt to change, you'll be left behind, right?
Yes.
Energy transition always leaves victims, which means if you don't transition your business, you'll be left behind.
Yes.
So for you to sustain your business, you need to observe what's going on in the market, right, and align with it. The work we've been trying to do is trying to see how we can, evolve the business of Ipman members to key into the energy transition move. That way,
that's the green energy
exactly.
transition.
So if you're going to green energy, Ipman members should be able to also dispense green energy,
Yes.
so that they now participate in the next phase of Nigeria's energy market. So this has been his desire. They have the network to help the government in developing the green energy value chain, right? Help with availability, help with accessibility, help with awareness. They're ready, and I think they have the capability to support the government initiatives to achieve that. And in so doing, you're able to have mutual benefit, right? The government benefits in terms of meeting its critical mass through
Yes.
Ipman members. Ipman members at the same time are able to have a sustainable business, and they're not going to run out of business. You can imagine 30,000 members. Imagine how many people they employ.
30,000 outlets.
30,000, and imagine 30,000 outlets.
Yes. And
Each
those-
of those outlets employs hundreds of people.
Yes, hundreds of people.
Imagine not being able to transition and all of those businesses, go out of business, right?
Yes.
But you see, with what he's doing, he's able to keep these businesses, running,
Yes, running.
even into the new dispensation. That way, you're preserving jobs.
Yes, preserving jobs,
Exactly.
preserving livelihoods, and all of
Exactly, and then helping to grow the economy and so on. And so I think, for me, this is what I'll part with. That the president is going in the right direction, and with the support of his members and the support of government, I think he should be able to achieve something.
that. You've heard all the thoughts and all the opinion from the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria on the drive to achieve green energy total revolution in Nigeria. Now, of course, you heard Mr. Norbert. Ipman is ready, willing to change its scale of operations. Ipman is ready to support the federal government to drive green energy in Nigeria. Ipman is ready to do everything it takes to ensure Nigeria achieves green energy revolution. And the federal government also, they are willing to work with the federal government. Mr. Norbert Shiasuk has been our guest. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for
And
standing in for the president.
Thank you very much.
Like the verdict every week features the president of Ipman. So Mr. Norbert has done the right thing, talking to us on green energy, standing in for the president. We move over now to oil and gas news, and from there to Marketers Diary. I guess you're thinking what should be next on the screen. Just keep watching, don't touch it down. This is Ipman Today. We'll be back.